Hi everyone, welcome to the Graceful Skinny. We are 9 weeks into our school year, and so it's time to give you an update. So let's get right into it. First off, we have for you our word a day. This was a big, huge surprise for us. In that we liked it so much. It's actually become a critical thing. We do have something that we have added to it though, and let me tell you about it. And that is a primary composition book. One of the primary composition notebook types. The ones that have the lines on the pages and then a space up top for drawing. We are really liking it because what we are doing is I write in highlighter the date and her word, and I write it a few times and give her some space so that she can practice writing the word, and then she gives me a sentence that I will write for her, and then she draws us a picture. I like it because we are sneaking in extra handwriting and she doesn't realize it. Bonus! Especially for the child that has the handwriting issues, which is why I do the highlighting for her. Secondly, I'm really getting to see some of her imagination creative side and how she's coming up with word usage for it. And I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm really liking the words in here. So it is Evan Moore's word a day is a big hit in our family, and I'm going to keep using it. I would say star rating wise, I'm going to give this a big, I'm going to give it a 5. I don't do that very often, but I'm going to give it a 5 because it exceeded my expectations. We are really getting use out of it. We're not just talking about it in the moment. These words are actually engaging her in her brain, and she is finding these words in other places outside of school time and pointing them out to us, and engaging in reading those words and recognizing them. And so for that perspective, it is huge, and we're getting way more for it, and I'm just very happy with it. We are definitely continuing it on for the rest of the year, and if the pace continues, you will definitely be seeing this in 2nd grade. Next, a reason for handwriting. I have a problem with a reason for handwriting, and that's that the beginning review section is about 3 times more difficult and more work, daily work, and more intense with the work than the rest of the book and the intended daily lessons. And I don't understand why, other than to brute force the child to remember everything and to practice and get better. And at least in a house with a child that has a handwriting struggle, it was getting ugly. And almost to the point where I gave up on the curriculum. And I'll only push through because we were almost done with that section. But as you can see, in the practice and review lesson section, it is an entire page of writing every single day. That's 5 days a week of doing a full page of work. Now, if you have a 1st grader without handwriting issues, then you're probably looking at me going, so what's the problem? The problem is when you have a kid that has a handwriting challenge, and pushing through just to get a page of math writing done is overwhelming to her. This much writing is just almost way too intense for her. And to push through, it was hard. It was hard on her. It was hard on me. Now that we have moved on into this section of the daily lesson section, where you have day 1 and day 2, and the way we are doing it is I give her the option each week to either do both day 1 and day 2 in one day, or to break it up into 4-day sections. We skip the optional writing it on a separate sheet on the border sheets day, and we just do day 1 through day 4. And sometimes she will want to push through and recognize that she can get the work done for the week faster, or she just grins and bears it and gets through it. Sometimes she'll take 4 days to do the work. So we will do, and that is a much better, but as you can see, there is a huge, huge difference between this work and this work. And you can see how she was getting tired with it, and she didn't do super well with it, and how overwhelmed it was for her. So I don't know why it starts off the book with 30 of these practice lessons. Maybe they're intended to be skipped and scattered throughout the book, but that's not what the book says. And there's no instruction on how to use those other than they're meant to be reviewed that you do at the beginning. And I was disappointed with that. And so from that perspective, I have to give it a 2.5 to a 3 rating. We almost dropped this curriculum. We did not like that beginning section that badly. And if we continue with the series for next year, I will not be pushing as much of the review as we did for these previous years. Next, we've got Essentials in Writing. We had one flaw with the Essentials in Writing, and that's that the pages in the workbook are not lined for a first grader. As you can see how big the writing is, and even this, for my daughter with a handwriting challenge, this can sometimes be too small for my daughter to have to work in the parameters of. And so to have to write on lines this small without even the guiding lines on there is a bit of a challenge, especially when even in the instructional video that goes with this, they use those guiding lines and they're not here in the book. And I wish they would do that. So what we have started doing, because we have the handwriting for most of our practice, what we have her do is we have her, this was the first time where I tried to make her do it, and it was just so overwhelming, and there were so many tears and tantrums and fights from both her and me that I didn't make her write this again. And in the future, what we did is I just have her edit the practice sentences and to fix the mistakes that are there that she sees. And when they have sentences, we do like we do in the composition book, where the primary composition book, where I will write the sentence for her in a highlighter and she has to go back over it. And that makes a big difference. Or sometimes I won't have her write it all if I feel like she's kind of overwhelmed for the day. And sometimes we'll just work together and I will write for her. And to me, that's fine, because the most important thing is that she's getting the lesson behind it, which in this one I think was predicates. And so as long as she understands what a predicate is and that each sentence needs a predicate, I'm not as worried about her actually getting it written down. We're covering that basis in other areas. We know that that's a problem area for her, and so as long as we adjust it for her, we're fine with it. The video portion of it is amazing. It is perfect 5 to 10 minute lesson. It holds her attention span, which for an ADHD child, not just an ADHD child, a severely ADHD child, says something. These lessons hold. I've yet to have a lesson. We are 11 lessons in. I've yet to have a video lesson where it does not engage and hold her attention completely. And it's good. It breaks it down. He explains it in a way that I might not necessarily think to explain it. Having that other teacher there explain something to her makes her take things seriously. All throughout kindergarten, we would have fights about capitalization of letters in random places and capitalization at the beginning of the sentence, and she just wouldn't listen to me. She wouldn't take it seriously. But as soon as this dude teaches it, Mr. Stevens, I think is his name, as soon as he talks about it, she takes it seriously, and I can reference him to take her seriously, and she does it. And so for that, I loved it. And I love it for the break it gives me. And the only thing I will I think is slightly strange in the videos is now that we're getting into the sentence, in lessons 10 and 11 are the last lessons we did, where they talk about sentence subjects and sentence predicates. He talks about and references what you learned last year, and this is review, when we haven't learned this, because this is first grade and this is the first piece of their curriculum. So there is no last year for this. Maybe he's assuming that you covered it in kindergarten. I don't know. It hasn't been a huge deal for my daughter because she's picked up on these things quite easily. And he introduces it and explains it in a way that even if he did cover it in some other off-camera thing, she's learning it now and it's fine. So I'm going to give this a 4, a rating of a 4. It would get a full 5 because I love the videos so much, but I have to take off for the setup of the workbook not being conducive to the writing skills of a first grader. And so for that, it gets a point taken off and it only gets a 4 or a 3.5. Other than that, it's great. The only other thing to talk about is the Hooked on Phonics. It's going, I didn't bring it down to show you because it's going pretty standard. I had made the mistake of trying to skip through the Hooked on Phonics and just avoid having to do the video with it and going through all the process of getting the video started for her just so that she can have something to do. So I wanted to like just try to skip through and push through and have her do it. But it seems like with some of the learning challenges that we're discovering, it seems like the video is actually breaking it down in a way for her that I haven't been doing well. And I think I'm going to have to, going forward, ensure that she gets a chance to see that video. Other than that, and other than the natural learning challenges, which is no fault of the curriculum at all, it's just how her brain is functioning. It's a brain functioning and eye weakness problem. The Hooked on Phonics is going great. And actually, with this eye weakness problem that she has, I would say the Hooked on Phonics setup and the way the DVDs work is actually conducive to helping that. And so for that, I'm going to give it a full 4 stars. It could maybe possibly do a little bit better and place it here or there. It's not perfect, but we love it. As far as costs go, it's the cheapest reading curriculum I have found out there, which is why we initially went with it. And I might consider even downloading the app and letting her start using the app soon. We'll see. But that's it for this update. Thanks for watching. If you be sure to hit that that subscribe button and that bell notification icon so that you can stay updated with all of our homeschooling updates on our journey, and follow along as I post new fun book finds. It's my favorite new thing that I do with you guys. And along with curriculum reviews for you, I've got some curriculum coming up that you're going to want to see. So be sure to hit those icons. And thanks for watching, everybody. Tune in next time. Bye.